In the late 1960s, a darkness fell over Northern California. It was a fear that didn't have a face, a nameless dread that crept into homes through newspapers and television screens. This was the time of the Zodiac, a killer who did more than just take lives. He played a game with the police, the press, and the public. He was a phantom who haunted the quiet, dark roads where young lovers sought privacy. He craved attention, and he knew exactly how to get it. The terror began on a cold December night in 1968 on a lonely lover's lane in Benicia. High school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were on their first date, but they were not alone. A strange car pulled up beside them. The driver got out, holding a gun. He ordered them out of their car. David was shot in the head at point-blank range. Betty Lou tried to run, a desperate scramble for her life into the darkness. Then, on the 4th of July in 1969, the killer struck again. This time, in a park in Vallejo, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were sitting in their car when another vehicle pulled up and blocked their exit. On August 1st, 1969, 3 nearly identical letters arrived at the offices of 3 major newspapers: the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald. The letters were written in a messy, almost childish scrawl, filled with spelling errors. But their message was one of pure menace. Each letter contained 1/3 of a bizarre, complex cipher. He claimed that this coded message contained his identity. He dared the police and the public to solve it. Just 1 week after it was published, a high school teacher from Salinas, Donald Hardin, and his wife Betty solved it. The decoded cipher read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all." The Zodiac's letters became his primary weapon, spreading fear far more effectively than his gun or his knife ever could. He would include pieces of evidence with his letters to prove he was the killer, such as a piece of a victim's bloody shirt, torn from the back of murdered taxi driver Paul Stein. His most famous unsolved puzzle is the Z340 cipher, sent in November 1969. For over 51 years, it remained a complete mystery, a block of strange symbols that taunted investigators and codebreakers. The most famous suspect is Arthur Lee Allen. He was a convicted child molester and a deeply troubled man. Police interviewed him multiple times. A friend claimed Allen had confessed to him his desire to kill people, call himself Zodiac, and use a gun with a flashlight attached to it, just like the survivor Michael Mageau had described. Another prominent person of interest was Rick Marshall, a silent film enthusiast who lived in the Bay Area. More recently, theories have emerged pointing to other men. One such theory centers on a man named Lawrence Kane, or K, who had a history of mental illness and run-ins with the law. In the end, the Zodiac Killer was never caught. His reign of terror, which started with a bang in the late 1960s, faded away with a whisper in the mid-1970s. Today, the case remains officially open in several jurisdictions. In 2020, a team of private citizens famously cracked the 340-character cipher, though it did not reveal his name. But until a definitive piece of evidence surfaces, the identity of the Zodiac Killer will remain one of the greatest enigmas in the history of American crime, a chilling ghost story that is all too real.